Hello, we are now live for episode 3. Yes, we are making it happen. Episode 3 of the In Conversation with an Expert series with myself, Arti Joshi, the fearless dating coach. This series is here for us to have really interesting and varied conversations with people that I really admire in this space, in not just the dating world as such, but within the in life, right? In life that can support you on your dating journey, make your dating journey even more exceptional, even more outstanding than maybe it already is, or if it's not as great as you'd hoped it to be. I'm hoping through this series, the things that we share and we discuss, in the last 2 weeks, I've been speaking with personal stylists and style coaches to help you up your personal style game, right? So that you look the part. You look the part for the person that you want to be as you date, as you go out into the world and start meeting people, that your outfits convey the person that you are and you want to be. And today I'm really excited because it feels like this conversation is a long time in the waiting, and it's with Saskia Nelson, the founder of Hey Saturday, who I see has joined us, and I will try and add you to the conversation. I'm really looking forward to this conversation because we are going to discuss all things dating profile photography, what we need to be doing, what we need to do less of, so that you can authentically show up as the person you are and want to be, to call in your dream relationship. So let me add Saskia, so round running. So hopefully, Saskia, you can hear me, you can join. Yes. Hello, Saskia.
Hi. How are you? Let me just
I
adjust
am
my
really
camera.
well. Yeah, actually, me too.
Okay.
Can you see me okay?
I can. You're looking good. Good lighting going on, which I heartily approve of. It's quite
Yes,
hard at
good.
this
I'm
time of
glad.
night.
Got to have it on point, right? For if I'm going to speak with a photographer, the lighting's got to be on point. So I'm glad you
Absolutely. To
approve.
be fair, mine could be better, but
It's okay. It's okay. You're not during working hours now. It's all right.
yeah, it's getting late here.
Yeah, exactly. What time is? Are you an hour ahead or behind
Yeah,
us?
it's
Oh,
9 o'clock now.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Right.
Way
So,
past my bedtime. You're keeping me
right.
up tonight.
Yeah. I don't believe that in the slightest. But
How
how
are
are you
you?
doing? I'm really well. I'm so excited for this conversation because I was just saying in the intro that this feels long overdue, right?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we've been in touch for like a long time now, and I don't think we've met in person, have we yet? So, or
Actually, we
have we?
have. Yes,
Okay.
we
Oh,
have.
I have face blindness, so sorry if I
Don't
didn't recognize you
worry.
or whatever. But
Don't
no,
worry.
okay, so we have met in person. That's good, but not
Yeah,
like
shall I
one on one,
remind
or
you?
have we?
Not one on, well, kind of actually. So the first time, which is potentially why we don't remember it as well, we actually met at the UK Dating Awards in
Okay, I would not have remembered. A lot of
exactly,
booze, a lot of people, a lot of partying. Yeah.
exactly like
So,
hi,
yeah,
hello.
I'm pretty sure I would have. Yeah, I remembered that, but I guess I meant like one on one. Yeah. So have we done that as well?
Yeah, so we did. So we had UK Dating Awards, and then I think probably maybe 6 or 7 months later, you ran an event with the lovely Dr. Karen and Anae.
Oh,
That's where
yes.
I think we met proper because
Okay.
I signed up to that event and I was hanging out with you guys at the start because I was quite early actually. And
Yeah,
that's where
yeah,
we
yeah,
had a
yeah.
bit more time to get to know each other.
Okay,
And I was like,
yeah.
this is a cool
That
chick.
was
I want
quite
to
a
get to
few
know her
years
more.
ago, wasn't it? Yeah,
That
no, it's
was.
great. And I think I messaged you a while back saying I'd love us to do a shoot together at some point when,
Yes,
yeah, when we're able to meet. And it'd be a really
exactly.
fun way to get to know you. Because once I photograph someone, I don't forget their face. But I know your face really well now because I see you all the time on my
Um,
social. But
I'm always on.
you're
Yeah.
on a lot.
Just
But
to make
thank
sure.
you for, yeah, thank you for having me on though. It's really nice to be here. And I can see you
Absolute
doing
pleasure.
you do a lot of work around educating people on how to liven up their profiles and get them up to scratch and, you know, making the most of their dating profiles. So you and I are very much, you know, on a par with that. So
Absolutely,
it kind of
100%. I think
makes
that's why
sense.
so much of what you do resonates with me, because it's exactly that. It's like not just being online, but actually being a presence online, you know, a
Yes.
noticeable presence online for the right reasons.
Absolutely, absolutely, because you can go on there for all the wrong ones, get noticed for the wrong reasons. So yeah,
Exactly.
it is all about creating that kind of amazing impression and yeah, being as much of you as you want to reveal, but trying to reveal some elements of you that are actually kind of authentic and real, rather than hiding behind, you know, or just portraying things that aren't true. I mean, the reason I set up Hey Saturday was because I mean, I was dating a long time back now, but I went on a lot of dates. I did online dating for about 8 years, and I met so many people who didn't look like their profile picture, and it's basically it's deception. It's
Mm.
catfishing, kitten fishing, whatever you want to call it. It's you know, it's just a waste of an opportunity, because people, once they feel deceived, they're not going to want to come back for more. So it's yeah, it's time to start revealing elements of ourselves. If you want to really match with someone who's, you know, your vibe, you're on a par with, who you connect with, who you resonate with, then the best way to do that, and the easiest way to do that, is to reveal some elements of yourself in your profile. And visually, obviously, is a massive way to do that, because people notice imagery first.
Mm.
So it's the photos that are really going to pull people in. A
Mm.
fraction of a second to capture their eye. And then once you've done that with the photos, then you get to the bio. But
Yeah.
people, it's all about the photos. And quite often people are swiping very, very quickly, aren't they? So
Oh,
you
totally,
really don't
totally.
have long. And so that's why it's not just revealing stuff about yourself, but it's the how you present yourself online as well. Like the tips and tricks that we use at Hey Saturday. To make our profile photos stand out, you know. So I'm happy to share that as
Mm.
well today.
Yeah, that would be
And
wonderful because
I think
Mhm.
your Wi-Fi is going a bit funny.
Is
Can
it?
you
Is
hear
it
me
mine?
okay?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. You're kind of cutting out a bit as
Hmm.
well. Are we good?
Okay. Yes, I think so. Sorry. I've done a live earlier today and it was all fine. So I haven't changed my
Ah,
setup.
okay.
So
Let
but
me
it could be me.
let me I've just hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah. I've just switched over
Hmm.
to 4G. So hopefully that's
Okay.
better on my end.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah. I'm getting a bit of a
Yeah.
delay. I'm
Okay.
getting a bit of a
I
delay
can.
with you.
Okay. Um, but I'm on Wi-Fi, but it's good Wi-Fi, so I'm
Cool.
hoping we'll be okay.
We'll persevere. We'll make it happen. It'll be fine.
We'll make it work.
Yeah,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
All right, perfect. Well, yeah, thank you for introing what Hey Saturday is about, how you came to be, and what I really love about the ethos of Hey Saturday is that it's the pictures tell a story. That's the vibe
Yeah.
that I've really got. And also, I've had the privilege of being on a Hey Saturday shoot as a
You
fly on
have,
the
haven't
wall,
you?
right? So
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
really had the opportunity to get to know the process. You know, for you guys, it's not literally just turn up for the shoot. You get to know your clients beforehand. So could you speak to that a
Yeah.
bit more?
Yeah. I mean, that's a really important part of it, because basically a good profile photo, well, a good portrait photo, is a connection between the client and the photographer. So, and it's about having you know, something happening there, a connection where you kind of can relate to each other, and that is the difference between a good photo and a bad photo. So with us, our photographers need to get to know who the client is, because it could be literally anybody. As you know, single people are literally anybody. Or we have all kinds of clients, so all kinds of interests and passions and, backgrounds, which makes it really, really interesting. And all our photographers are really curious about people and are passionate about understanding people and learning people. That's a big part of how, we choose our photographers. You need to be interested in what makes people tick and wanting to kind of reveal that. We have a process. We have like a very comprehensive welcome pack where we go through all sorts of things like confidence and what to wear and all that sort of thing, and what to do if you're feeling anxious, because obviously anxiety is quite a big thing these days. And so we cover all that. And then we have a pre-shoot questionnaire, which is, I don't know, it's probably about 10 questions, but they're kind of quite hard-hitting questions like, what's inspiring you right now? What makes you stand out from other people? What your interests and passions are, what you're obsessed with. So we kind of go through this series of questions, and we take our clients through that. And some of them kind of like at the beginning are like, what, I've got another thing to fill in, but they kind of get into it, and I think they quite enjoy it, because, and one of the reasons for doing this as well is that it's really important for, like, everybody's so busy. Like, we get a lot of kind of people in really, really busy jobs and leading frantic lives. They might be single parents, they might be having to travel all over the world, that kind of thing. So the purpose of this pre-shoot questionnaire as well is just giving them that opportunity to just take 10, 15 minutes out of their day before the shoot, just to sit down and go, okay, so they want to know what I want to say about myself. This is probably a good, this is probably quite useful for me to have a think about. I think, I'll ask questions, something like, what do you want your photos to say about you? And, if you haven't thought about that, then, it's going to be hard for us to help you do that. So just the whole process. I think we also ask, how would your friends describe you, in kind of 3 adjectives, which is also quite a good one. So what we're really trying to do is kind of uncover what makes people tick, what their interests are, what their passions are, what their core values are to some extent, what their personality, what their vibe is really. And so for the client, that's really good, because it means they get to sit down and really think about what they want to say and who they are and what they want to reveal. Because I don't think you need to reveal everything in your profile pictures about you or in your bio. You want to reveal a few things that you think is going to intrigue people. But yeah, I'm not suggesting that you just tell everyone everything, but just the key things, figuring out, well, what do I want to say? What do I want to share? What kind of person do I want to attract? So they kind of, go through that process. And then for the photographer, they're really starting to get an insight before they meet the client. They go through all that, and they're also having a dialogue on the email as well. But it's really good for them to go, okay, this person's passionate about this, that, and the other. What's that? I'm going to find out. And then, there might be things in there that they don't know anything about. And then when they arrive on the shoot, the photographer has a guide for how to engage with the client and get them to kind of relax, which is really important, because, having a photo shoot is not something people do every day. I think it's definitely getting more and more common, with Instagram. I think back in, when I launched, it was kind of unheard of. People are like, I don't know why I'm doing this. It's so random. I'm embarrassed. Now, lots of people are a lot more relaxed about it. But obviously, lots of people are still nervous, and some have anxiety. So our photographers really help with that. But I think a big part of it is just being curious to get to know the client and find building on what they've learned from the pre-shoot questionnaire. And then the client obviously is coming to the shoot with a much better idea of what they want to, what they want to reveal, what they want to say about themselves, how they might go about doing that. So we kind of encourage that. And for people who are creative, we suggest, if they want, they can make a mood board on Pinterest, which is, like a really cool way, it's a really fun thing to do if you're kind of quite creative. And that's something that, visually you can share that with your photographer then. and photographers understand that language quite well. So yeah, it's a fun thing to do, just and it doesn't have to be anything that you want to imitate, but it can be colors or outfits or poses or backdrops that you think, yeah, that's the kind of vibe I want. We're not going to replicate it, but it gives you, the photographer, a good idea. And also, it makes the client go, well, what do I like? Yeah, I think I like this. So it's kind of understanding what aesthetic you want to have for your profile, your story. Yeah, so it's kind of quite a fun. I mean, some clients embrace that aspect of it and really, really go out to do it. I think your sister had an amazing. I just loved her shoot so much. Really, really.
I think she's watching us as well.
I just saw her pop up. That's what made me think of it. I think she had some props. I wasn't sure what they were, but
the violin. She had the violin and the book.
I love the violin shots. Stunning. It's absolutely very stunning. And something that looked like eyeglasses. But anyway.
Oh yeah, because she's an optician.
There you go. You see, I didn't know what it was, but I was curious, and I figured it was something to do with. So that's the sort of thing, like in her profile. People, I shouldn't have mentioned outed her or whatever, but that's the sort of thing where people are like, okay, what's happening in this photo? It's kind of creating some interest, some intrigue, which is really exciting. Things like that are so cool because, being able to show elements of your personality enough to intrigue people to want to know more. I mean, that is fantastic. That's what we're really trying to do. 100%. So that's that's part of our kind of preparation process, which is really, I guess, about helping people uncover their, the authentic them, I suppose. But yeah, like I say, I think it's important to say, I'm not suggesting you go in and reveal everything about yourself as much as you can. Yes. I think it's about picking and choosing, but being honest with what you pick and choose. And if it's aspirational, that's something to, you want to show yourself off, which is good. I think that's important because when you start dating, you live an aspirational life. Like, you don't sit around in sweatpants and meet your day. Well, you probably do in lockdown, but you know what I mean. When it's normal times, you make the effort. You're always on your best behavior at the beginning, and so being aspirational on your profile, I think, is, do that as much as you would to the same extent as when you first start dating someone. I think that's really important.
That's a really, really important point to just sort of really hone in on, actually, because it's, your profile is not there, as you said, to reveal everything about you in that instance. And I think actually that I've noticed with my clients that that's been a real sticking point and a real kind of aha moment when we've gone on this profile makeover journey, because people have this approach of like, I either give nothing or I give it all. Right? It's like, I'm this and I want this and and this photo and that photo and this photo, and it's like, it's not saying anything. And when would you ever in life, if you went to an in-person dating event, or you met someone at a bar or whatever, when would you stand in front of them and be like, okay, I'm now going to tell you every single thing about me and tell you my life story, and expect you to respond to that and be like, yeah, you're someone I really want to hang out with or go on a date with.
You're not going to stand them and go, well, I like hiking, and I like, it goes through a long, long list. You're going to pick the thing that's important to you and reveal a few things, and hopefully get into it on that kind of a level. So that's absolutely true. I think imitating real life in that way, is quite useful. And when people kind of make lists of what they don't want, why are you going there? Like, that's not helping you attract what you do want. Focusing on what don't even mention what you don't want. Let's focus, because it annoys people, if anything, and it comes across as so negative. Message. Yeah, it's so negative, and it's really, if you want to find, if you want to reach the person that you do want, you need to be putting out those vibes of this, this is who I am, and this is what I'm aspiring to be. And this is the kind of life I live. I think, and the other thing about profiles is the pictures and the bio, but the pictures as well are visually kind of showing your life and your lifestyle and how you live that life. And people, when they're dating, are looking at other people to say, and they're thinking like, is my lifestyle going to mesh with this person's lifestyle? Do I want my lifestyle to mesh with this person's lifestyle? And those are very important questions. And I think when people are thinking of their own profile, they forget that. But the minute they start looking at someone else's, it's what's going on in their head. They're like, do I want to go out with this person? They look, do they look like the kind of person, is that the sort of thing I'd want to do on a weekend, like what they're doing? Are those people they're hanging out with, are those the sort of people I want to be hanging out with? Which is, I'm obviously very anti having other people in your profile photos.
Yes, me too. Oh my God,
you need to be the absolutely
the
no, you need to be the star of your own profile. And I still hear kind of dating coaches and experts kind of saying, well, or I read blogs and things, and it's like, well, you can have like a picture of so and so and so and so, and one or two of your friends. And I just think, waste of an opportunity. You get 4 to 6 opportunities in your photos, which is like really your premium advertising space. So if you think about your dating profile as your marketing tool, the photos is the premium advertising space. They're the thing that's going to get people to swipe right or not. So if you're wasting it on identikit photos with other people in it, and people are, you're putting obstacles in the way, because if people are looking at that and go, nah, I really don't like the look of their friends, or
but also, have you been in this
more
situation, Saskia? Because I know I've been here before, where I've looked at profile, and this is why I say it's a massive no-no, because I've looked at people's profiles when I've been dating myself, and I've been like, he's really cute. Later to find out, I actually prefer the friend or the brother or the cousin.
Exactly. Of course, that always happens. And then by that point, you're like, no, I'm not going to bother with this one. So it's just like, you're just putting obstacles in the way, really. So I think remembering that your photos are revealing so much about you. People are like hunting every area of that photo. If they're vaguely interested, they will be looking at all parts of your photo, not just your face, but what's happening in the background, what you're wearing, everything, to try and gauge whether you're their kind of person. So if the more you can take control of the information that you're including in your photos, i.e. like taking photos especially for this purpose, if it's at home with your iPhone, or if it's with a company like Hey Saturday, that's going to help you to kind of like, kind of not end up with people who aren't a good match for you. Just taking control of your narrative and what you're saying, and all the things in the photo need to have some kind of relevance. Backgrounds, for example, are really key. And so, you need to be the star of your own profile. But the backdrops are important as well. Now, they're obviously not as important as you're the focus of it. But what you have in the background, like I said, is giving away loads and loads and loads of information. So you need to make sure the information is working hard for you. What I suppose, as a rule of thumb, like whatever your background is, I think it should either be simple, so not messy, not cluttered, not full of just, I don't know, parking signs or like, kind of adverts for whatever, so, just something simple. If you have nothing else to work with, a simple background that adds emphasis. So it should be simple, and preferably with some color in it. If you have a look at Hey Saturday, I think the one thing that stands out is that we absolutely 100% embrace color. So it's so important. And it's a huge part of our brand, because we knew from the get-go that photos that have strong, bold color in it just stand out. And most dating profile photos are neutral, very neutral colors: blacks, whites, browns. When you go through it, you kind of notice once you know. So the minute you see someone, with wearing bright red, or with something red in the backdrop, we kind of work our environment so well that you might get something red like coming down one side, but straight away it makes the photo pop. So colour is really, really critical. And then I would say context, like, so that, you know, we try and encourage people to choose somewhere that's kind of suits their vibe. So if you're like really into like countryside walking, etc., but you actually live in a city, well, you know, maybe you choose to have a park shoot, you know, and do some of your shots there, try and get some other ones as well, but do the majority in somewhere where you feel comfortable, where the aesthetic kind of really speaks to you, resonates with you. I mean, I, for example, I've always been a massive like city, like urban chick. You know, I'm Shoreditch all over. Like, put me in Shoreditch and I'll be happy. But recently, I've really got into forest bathing, and I love being in forests and like feeling zen. So I think now, if I had a dating profile, I'd definitely want some in a forest. So, you know, and that's not something I'd have ever done. But so it's thinking about those different aspects of your personality and bringing that in. And choosing places that like suit your aesthetic. So, you know, maybe cafes, and, you know, if you're the sort of person you like going to cute cafes, or you like shopping in boutique shops or markets, and, you know, really trying to pick a few. I mean, I'm not saying every photo needs to be like that, no, because, you know, that's not always possible. But try and get some, probably 3 ideally, that really kind of are saying something about you that, you know, makes you feel, yeah, that is me. Or, you know, that's something that I would do. You know, it might even be going to places. So in London, for example, we have a lot of shoots in Shoreditch, South Bank, because that's such a prime date spot. So many people go on dates in the South Bank. I would say especially our older, probably our kind of 40s and 50s clients. It's like a really nice place to go, walking along the river. So it makes sense to have their shoot there because they feel comfortable there. It resonates with their whole like dating mindset. So it's just kind of thinking those through those kinds of things, I would say. So
and
really,
I love what you guys do in terms of you encourage people, because for some people, for what I've noticed, the vast majority of people going on this online dating journey is that the photos, the profile are almost like an afterthought, whereas they are the place that you begin. So take good care of that, invest time in that so that you create the results that you most want. You're going to get shitty results if you have a shitty profile, right?
yeah, I mean, that is something absolutely 100%. I think when people start online dating, they want to fast forward to the fun bit where they're going on dates. So it's like, oh my God, I've got to do all this like horrible bit at the beginning, or I've got to get this profile written, and no one likes writing about themselves. You know, it's like you have to sit down and really think about it. And this, you know, and if you don't have any guidance like your program, then you are kind of like, I don't really know how to do this. And you just write, it's like, I'm just going to write any old thing. I'll get some photos from my phone and I'm good to go because I just want to get to the dating bit. Well, you know, rewind. That's not going to get you the results you want. I mean, you need to put the time in, you need to invest. You know, this is a good point to talk about quality, actually. So, you know, using low quality photos, for example. So if you think, right, I'm just going to spray something together for my profile and then I'll get to the good fun stuff. So I've got some old blurry shots on my iPhone, I'll upload that and, you know, just write any old thing. So basically, yeah, old, you know, pixelated, blurry, out of focus photos, especially now in 2021, are really not going to get you anywhere at all.
No excuse.
No, I mean, if you went shopping you had 2 websites that were selling the same stuff, you know, but one website had really poor quality photos and the other had amazing quality photos, you know, kind of a no-brainer. You're going to go, even though the prices are the same, the product's the same, you're going to choose the one that is speaking to you, that is quality. So if you want to represent yourself as a quality, you know, and you want a long-term, you're looking for like a long-term serious relationship of some description, then you really need to choose, you know, it's a no-brainer. You need good quality photos. I used to say that poor quality photos attract hookups, basically. Because what you're just saying, I'm not serious about this, I'm not invested in it, I've just thrown something together and hoping for the best. So
Yeah.
if that's how you're, if people think you approach your love life like that, then you're probably, in their heads, you're probably just in it for a hookup and you're not after something serious.
Yeah.
So yeah, quality is obviously super important. Getting your photos, in focus, no blur, no red eye. I mean, red eye, your eyes are the most important part of your profile photo, especially for dating, for across the board for all kinds of photos. But for dating, it's all about trust. And if someone can see your eyes clearly, they will believe that they can trust you more. If they can't see your eyes clearly, then it's all subconscious, a lot of this, but they'll think to themselves, oh, there's something here that I'm not really feeling. So red eyes, really bad idea. And then another thing I would say as well is about amateur flash. So if your mate's taking a photo on an iPhone in a bar or something of you, amateur flash can actually age you by quite a lot. I think it's like 7 years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so it's quite a lot. So if you're creating photos at home for your profile because we're all locked down, then I'd recommend going outside for many reasons. But one of them is avoid flash. But go outside because the photos outside are more dynamic. You can work with your environment a lot more. There's a lot more kind of flexibility around the kind of backdrops you can use. It can be quite exciting to go out and explore and find what might work for you and what might not.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely head outdoors. And
Yes.
also if you're getting a mate to take it, I've got a couple of tips for that. So because I think it's important, if people are in lockdown, you can still create fun photos. So get a friend to do it. Get a good quality phone, ideally like an iPhone with portrait mode. Find the good light. So avoid direct sunlight, find good quality light. If it's a sunny day, I'd go into the shade a little bit. So you've got even light on the face. But one kind of way to figure out what the light looks like is to just kind of stand in one place and then move round and see how the face looks. Because when the light's falling evenly on your face, like for example now I've got a ring flash on my face, so it's like even light. But if I flipped round, if I moved round the other side of it, I'd look horrendous because there'd be shadows and double chin showing, and so it makes such a difference, like getting the lighting right. I mean, you can tell if you do a selfie, like you put your phone in selfie mode and turn around, you can see that your face is changing considerably. And actually, if you get older, it's worse because so many things start going wrong the minute you get out of good light. Anyone older will be like, yep, okay, I need to get on this. But you definitely look younger the minute you've got some decent light hitting your face just right. So yeah, just kind of spin around and go, yeah, this is the right angle here. I'm gonna face this way. So that's really good. And then the other thing is zoom out as well if you're using a phone.
Yes.
Make sure you zoom out because then you'll have better quality. If you zoom in, you have poor quality images. So use your legs as a zoom, or you get your housemate to use their legs to zoom in and out, not the zoom function, and just have a really steady hand. So that's just some quick tips for doing it at home.
Love that
phone.
because another thing is, of course, if being in this period of lockdown and if we're not quite able to hang out with friends as much or get in close proximity with them, we have to call upon the resource that is ourselves, right? So one thing I really share with my clients in the profile makeover as well is even to invest in one of those remote Bluetooth remotes. Right, it's something that I use myself, where you can position the phone and you can have the lovely tree or the graffiti background, right, whatever it is, and then you can just press ding, ding, ding. It's great.
Yes,
it's great.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I still haven't got one of those because I was going to say about selfies. I know, I really need to get that. But I was going to say about selfies. So yes to selfies if you can't get someone else, but not with your arm up, obviously.
Yes.
But do it the arty way, where you get a tripod or something that you can prop it on and have a remote that's going to work. But lighting's very important with that. But, you know, we've just talked about lighting. It's just a case of finding your light, moving around until you, yeah, spinning around in a circle and going, yep, this is the spot. Let's do it this way. And that's a very good point. But in terms of actual selfies, so quite a lot of people still use selfies on their profile. Research has said that nobody should be doing it. But if there was a but, it would be women in their 20s. So women in their 20s can get away with it, but only one, like not all of them, to be selfies.
Yes.
But if if you're a woman in your 20s, you can have one, maybe two if you really need to. But men like it because, so this is kind of for straight women, men like it because it kind of creates this full sense of intimacy, you know, because it's like, and it's quite flirty and cute. So men do like, you know, the odd selfie, but don't make your whole profile selfies. And also anyone who's not a woman in their 20s, you know, I don't make these rules. This is research, because to me, I'm like, well, that sounds very sexist and ageist and all sorts of things. But that's, you know, that's what research is saying. But obviously, as a dating photographer, I'm going to say, forget the selfies.
Of course.
But during lockdown, we don't always have a choice. So, get a remote. I'm sure you can get them quite cheap.
Oh, yeah, they're so cheap, so easily available. And that's the thing. It's like with the selfie, you know, and I've had conversations with my clients and the participants of the makeover. It's been, it's, if you are going to have a selfie, it's the type of selfie you have in there. And what we have a barrage of at the moment is, especially for women, it's that selfie taken up there, really close, pout. And it's on profile after profile after profile.
Bit of cleavage.
Yeah, exactly. Get a bit of that cleavage in there. One thing that I really share with my clients is that we want our profiles to be as much of what you see is what you get, right? So this person gets a real clear idea that I am attracted to this person, and they're showing me a real idea of who they are. And so when I ask some of my clients who have some of these pictures up there, and I ask them, why are you doing this? And they're like, well, just to, you know, that's a better angle for me, or it gets rid of my double chin. And my question back to them is, when they meet you, are they going to see you at that angle? You're not going to be on the date. You're not going to be like that the whole time, because they would think there'd be something very wrong with you. Chances are, if we have a double chin, it's going to show, right? So how can we just embrace that as best we can and take a good photo at a normal angle? Because I was writing about this in the tips that I put a few days ago on my profile, of like, eye level, right? Eye level is so important for that creation of trust. So what have you found that to be really important in the work that you do, in the photographs that you take with people?
So it's quite interesting, because we also run Hey Tuesday, so that's business headshots. So for Hey Tuesday, you need to be slightly lower, like looking up to the client, so they look kind of powerful and confident, which can also work obviously for dating, but it's kind of quite good for business. And for dating with women, they kind of recommend slightly down, just because it's more kind of cute. But I mean, not everyone's cute, so you know. But yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think from my perspective, I think it's good to try and mix up the angles. So you do need some on this level, absolutely, for sure. But you can also have some of them slightly higher, because they're going to go to the bar and come back, and they're going to see you from a new angle. So maybe not quite that angle, but you know, I mean, people in real life, you get to see people at all different angles. So I think if you're trying to imitate like a real date and real interactions with people, I think the key is mixing it up and having variety. But yeah, I don't think anyone sees anyone in selfie mode when you're like out on a date. So that whole armor, you know, cutie thing. Yeah, I mean, you would never do that in real life in a bar or in a restaurant. So that, I agree, is not particularly going to, you know, speak to them in any way. But I would say like if you've got someone else doing it, having, you know, then there will be, you know, I think you should have photos where you're sitting down and maybe the photographer's standing up, and because they're going to see you in that sort of way, for
Yeah.
real on a date.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think the key there is variety, and trying to
Variety
show
and natural, right?
lots of
That,
different angles.
yeah.
Yeah, hugely important.
Yeah.
Um,
Because you can, as you
yeah, I
said, you
think
can have that angle, and as long as you look natural, because there is a point at which it doesn't look natural, right? But if, again, like you said, with the spinning around to find the right shape, lighting on your face, you
life,
could
yeah,
do
yeah.
that with the camera as well. Like, is this too awkward? No, okay, this is a bit more a bit more natural.
Yes, that's
So
true,
that
and
play,
that's
that
that's
willingness
all
to
about
play.
experimenting, and so yeah, that's kind of like just experimenting and try. And I think part of getting ready to have your photos taken is playing around and going, yeah, and do practice with your iPhone, because I think it's a really good practice tool. Like, do I like smiling like this? Do I like this side? You know, like what do I look like? I think that's quite, you know, a useful thing to do ahead, to get comfortable on camera, to see what you like and what you don't like, and maybe when your chin is more visible and not visible. I mean, I get why people don't want to be captured with a double chin or with the kind of rolls of fat hanging over, she says, looking down, because, you know, hopefully when you're on a date, there's more things happening and it's not going to be that noticeable. They're not going to notice your double chin because there's lots of, you know, animation and conversation,
It's
hopefully.
movement,
So
yeah.
sometimes lots of movement. So I think sometimes in photos, toning down the things that you really don't like about yourself is okay, if, you know, as long as you're not kind of completely, you know, whitewashing it and creating a whole new version of you that's just not real. But you can tone things down a little bit, because you know, you don't want their focus to be on that. Because if they met you in real life, they probably, you know, hopefully you'd be engaged in a conversation and you wouldn't be thinking about those sorts of things.
It's the same way as the attitude that we take when we're going onto a date. It's like best foot forward. It's the same for your
Yeah,
photographs. It's like, yeah, best foot forward. I'm gonna show up for
absolutely.
this. I'm going to present myself well, but not beyond recognition, and not like I'm not making an effort at all. There's that sweet spot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way we always frame it, because people do say a lot, like, I don't know how to show up. I think for my perspective is, how would you show up for a first date? Because we're trying to capture you in a way that when someone turns up for a first date with you, they get it, they recognize you, they know who you are, unless they've got face blindness, in which case I have, you know, other issues with that. Lots of people do have face blindness, it is a thing. Yeah, so we always recommend, like, show up for your shoot as you would for like a hot first or second date. So, and at least one of your outfits needs to be that outfit. And so if we start from there, you're going to be, you know, most people have been on first dates at some point, and they know, you know, how they want to show up. They know what they feel like. They know what they want to portray, hopefully. And if not, they'll have done our questionnaire, so they'll be, you know, they'll be onto a good kind of track. But yeah, once you bring that kind of energy, and you're like, right, okay, I need to get excited, get my, you know, hot first date outfit on. I can do this. You know, I want to show myself as bubbly and funny, and, you know, so get into that frame of mind and be that person when you arrive on your shoot. And I think you'll absolutely nail it. And that's a good starting point. And then from there, you can cover different, you know, so we recommend that you bring a first date outfit and you rock it like you're on a first date. And then we recommend that you bring a weekend date outfit. So, you know, a kind of, what would you do, like Sunday brunch or going to a gallery? Like, what would you wear to something that you'd like to do on a weekend? Obviously, everyone's different. So we don't say wear a black dress, for example, on your first date. We're like, whatever you'd wear, bring that. And, you know, what would you do with your hair? What would you do with your makeup? Do that. So that people are being really authentic in that way and bringing that energy and that vibe and the way they look with them. And then, yeah, and then we build on it. And then, you know, it's like, are you into, you know, anything athletic? Because that always goes down super well. And so many people we get all sorts of, you know, cyclists, yoga enthusiasts, runners, all kinds of people come along, and surfers, because we're in LA, we get a lot of surfers down there. all kinds of people bring in all kinds, and it's really exciting when, in a minute someone brings a surfboard or a skateboard, or, I get really excited when I see their images. I'm like, oh my God, you're really like, being willing to show who you are. And those are the photos that people are going to notice. When I post them online, if I post some online, the minute there's something cool, like a prop or something like that, that shows their interest, people love that stuff. Of course, like, why wouldn't you? It's so, like, standing there without a surfboard versus with a surfboard, or without, your kind of bike, or being on your bike, or riding on your bike. We have all kinds of photos like that. That's huge, because it's so much more powerful than if you were just standing there without your bike, because you've just told them so much information just with that one prop. Admittedly, a bike's quite a big prop, but so many people want to do that. And since I'm on props are a really big part of Hey Saturday as well, as a way of, once you've figured out your, who you are, and your kind of what makes you authentic, what you're about, what you stand for, what makes you stand out from other people. Once you figured that out, it's like, okay, so we figured out your internal self. How are we going to reveal that in your photos? And so props are obviously a huge part of that, along with your clothes and things. And so props, it's thinking about what you're into, and it's not always easy, but we have all kinds of people like like creatives, people who draw with their iPad, or kind of design with their iPad, or they sketch, or they paint. Or what else do we have? We have, kind of all kinds of creative people. We have I was going to say musical instruments, huge. Yeah. We have all kinds. I've seen all sorts of things. Ukuleles, like, I swear to God, guitars, quite common. And people bring that along. They're like, like your sister brought that along, and that's amazing. That's amazing. That the photos with the violin are so cool, and it's just such a powerful way to tell your story, and it makes it so much more compelling than just a photo without your violin when you do have one. So really think about what props you can bring. And yes, recently we've had so many dogs come along, and it's not something I usually recommend, because it's, I always kind of have to talk to them about it and go, with a dog, your dog needs to be well behaved, and or bring someone who can look after the dog and take them away. But so many people want to bring their dog, and I get that. The dog's a huge part of their life, and it makes for lovely photos. So if you've got someone who can come along and help with the dog, then brilliant. So that's another really good one. So I mean, there's lots of fun ways. And I think for lots of people, they kind of like think, oh my God, I don't know what to bring. Even bringing a book is powerful, because you can bring a book that really says something to who you are, and tells people like something kind of quite meaningful about you, just the title, and the photographer can try and get the book cover in so people know what that book is. So even just doing something very simple, like grabbing a book on your way out the door, it's going to create a photo that is way more powerful, and actually quite often will be a talking point. So the photos with the props are going to be the ones that are talking points, because you're giving them information about you, and quite often intriguing information, like, oh, you play the violin, or oh, you read The Power of Now, or oh my goodness, you create cartoons on your iPad. There's just you're just creating this opening and a really easy route into connecting with you and being curious about you. And if you do that, then people are going to message, people are much more likely to message. So I think one of the problems with messaging is people never know what to say. Like, how many messages have you received that just says, hey, with 5 Y's at the end? Hey, because people are stumped, they don't know what to say. So make it easy for them, like, just give them this information, and they can kind of run with that.
100%. That's what I say. The profile is you essentially opening the doors to someone and say, hey, come into my world for this moment. Check it out. See if you like it enough to then decide whether you want to message me. So as you said, 100% make it as easy for them as you possibly can by having those points of interest, by having those props there for them to go beyond the obvious openers of, like you said, hey, how are you? How was your day? What do you do? That people get so frustrated by. But again, we have to think
Yeah.
about, where do we have the power to change and transform this? We have the power
Yeah.
to do that by taking a look at our profiles and saying, how much information can I provide in this short space? And a
Yeah.
photograph is exactly that. If you've got that, I like to think, I share with my clients, like, take photos in your natural habitat, I call it. Get a bit David
Yeah.
Attenborough, right? But where do you hang out? How do
Yeah,
you spend your
exactly.
time?
Yeah.
So
I have
important.
a, yeah, I have like a rule of thumb. Like if if you're like thinking, I don't know what to do, you could go somewhere you like, go somewhere you love, hold something you love, wear something you love, do something you love. And if you're doing like those things, you're going to start getting photos
Yeah.
that resonate with who you are. And that's another, I think that's another thing about props, because it's not only giving it people information to get, to connect with you and be curious with you, and kind of communicate more easily with you. But it's, oh my God, I just forgot what I was going to say. Some menopausal and it's late here. What was I say? I can't remember.
It will come back to
Sorry.
it will come back to us.
It'll come back. They always do, don't they? I really should have stopped waffling then.
No, but I think it's so important. We want to remember here, for everyone that's joining us live, or anyone that's watching this on the replay, is that make it as easy as possible for someone to not just make conversation with you, but make quality conversation with
Yeah,
you by
yeah,
having these points of interest in there. Because what you're also doing is, if this is someone that you connect deeply with, you're laying out the foundations for potential
that's
dates as well, right?
That's
Like,
exactly what
oh,
I was going to say. It's
yes,
about
we got
when you
there.
put something, we got there. When you put something that is important to you, it will resonate with someone who is of your tribe, your kind of someone who's your vibe. So when you start, yeah, that is exactly what I was going to say. So when you start, including little snippets about yourself that are meaningful to you, you're more likely to attract people who are going to connect with you and resonate with you, because they found something in your profile that interests them, like the book that you're reading that's really important to you. They'll be like, oh my God, that was like my favorite book, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there's so much possibility for communicating with them following that. You could be like, oh my God, that book, I really love it. You can imagine the emails, the messaging that's happening, following on from something like that.
Yeah.
Or I love your dog, something as simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's so
Everyone
it's
loves
so
dogs.
simple, but really, really effective. And we've got to just
That's it,
think,
yeah.
yeah, we just got to think about, like, what opportunities are we creating with this profile? Are we just thinking really, are we have we got like kind of blinded thinking, in the sense of we're just looking at someone to message us? Are we looking at the journey that we could potentially go on with someone? Like, if we really
Yeah,
connect, we could jump on the phone together and have a really great phone call, and then we could have a Zoom date, and then we could have a date in person. And it's the
exactly.
foundations that we're laying with a strong
Absolutely.
profile, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Really, really
absolutely.
important. And I think that goes
Yeah,
to what you were saying right at the top of our conversation, which I think is really, really important. And I think that's why our work really resonates with each other, because one of the things that I think a lot of people may think when they listen to this conversation, when they look at the work that you do or I do, and the amount of effort that we go to help people create really powerful, outstanding, authentic profiles, is that, well, what's the point? Everyone else is just like doing this, that, and the other, and they're not really putting that much time and effort into it. But I really think that each and every one of us has a responsibility to raise the bar, to raise the standard. And the more of us that do it, the more of us will be receptive to looking out for those profiles, to reach out to those people, to create deep connection with people. So this work is important, and investing in this is an important thing to do. What do you think?
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I 100% support that, because I've been kind of, when I started Hey Saturday, there wasn't such a thing as having dating photography experts or photographers, should I say, dating photo experts. It was something that I created, and so nobody was doing it. But I started getting clients slowly, and then more and more people were like, this is such a great idea. And I think once you start seeing some people with good quality images and not others, it's kind of a no-brainer. They're gonna be the ones attracting people. They're the ones who are going to be having success. So it was slow, but it kind of snowballs for me. And I think it's still a massive job. There's so many people online dating, obviously, huge numbers, thousands, millions. So I think, oh God. It's getting late. I can't forget what I'm going to say. I'm so sorry.
It's about the raising of the standard, right? The raising of the bar, the quality of absolutely. And I think this online world, this online dating world, you came into this work early where people are like, what's this about?
What is this?
Yeah, right. But it's getting bigger, and it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a tipping point for profile photos where, like, not having good photos means you're going to get zero attention. I mean, that day is coming, and it's very soon, because people crave a rich visual experience online. We're all online, and we're all looking at amazing imagery, like adverts and blogs and beautiful websites with amazing imagery. And when we go on to Tinder or on Bumble or whatever apps we're using, we don't want that to stop. We still want to experience amazing imagery. So, people crave that. So if they do see someone on there with those kinds of photos, they're immediately going to be like, okay, this looks interesting. So, I think it's been a slow job for Hey Saturday, but we are, we're here, and we're kind of going, you need to up your game, because once that tide turns, you're going to get left behind, because and it's coming any day, a tipping point where I just think poor photos you're just going to get ignored, I suppose. Well, yeah, kind of overlooked.
I think so.
Because the more and more people who have better quality photos, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we know when we think about our shopping experiences or our experiences online that we're drawn to the good quality stuff. We're drawn to colorful stuff. So yeah, it makes, it's just the way it's going to go. So I think you're right. And making that upfront investment is so important, because you're investing in yourself. There's nothing more important than that. And not only that, finding the love of your life. I mean, is that not literally the most important thing? I mean, for most people, not everybody, I get that. Yeah. But I think for most people, 80%, if not more, 90%, finding someone, finding love, finding someone special is the most important thing. Yeah. At the end of the day, nothing else matters but who you love. And so this is such an important thing to do. So you need to invest, and just making that upfront investment with your profile, and just thinking about it, taking that time to go, who am I? What do I want to say? How am I going to say it to attract the right kind of attention? Just spending that time. It's not a lot of time. You can do it. You can do it. It's not, but it's so worth it, and it'll just maximize your dating experiences so much. Exactly. The quality of the dates, the number of dates, the quality of the interactions, all of that is going to go up.
That's the thing. It's it is a no-brainer, because the return on investment that you get on this, I mean, this beautiful relationship with the love of your life, what you go on to create, all of that beautiful love story that you get to create. But what I also love about investing in ourselves in this initial part of our journey is that we create beautiful memories and mementos for ourselves. You get, regardless of what happens, you have this literal snapshot of you in time, having this great time, looking amazing, looking fantastic, and that's yours to keep forever.
Yes. Yeah, and to give to your mum as a Christmas present.
Exactly.
But no, that is so true, because I think one thing I've realized is, because we always ask our clients, like, send us photos that you're using for your dating, and obviously they don't have good ones. And you think, my God, you get through your whole life and nobody has like great photos of themselves. That is a crying shame. Like,
Yeah.
you deserve to have like nice imagery of yourself at some point in your life, this special moment as well. And being single, can I just say, it's an amazing, it can be so amazing. And don't wish it away, because it is a special time. And I think back in the day, people used to get shamed for being single, and that's, which is ridiculous, because it's an amazing time to explore and discover who you are and have lots of adventures, and it's crazy times. So make the most of it, because it is good fun.
Yeah.
But obviously finding someone as well, is equally important.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's why you have this journey that you're going on, right? You've got you're looking forward to that time where you're with your partner and you're creating a beautiful relationship together. And sometimes what I find with my clients, that they're looking at that time in their life and they're really looking forward to it, and that the dates that they go on, that's what they think of as dating. The relationship is what they think of as being in love and being in a relationship. But my reframe for
Not
it is that
thinking
it's,
about what are you doing now? How are you
yeah,
living now?
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
What does your life look like right now? Because
Right.
when you go on, that's so important, is to, while you're being single and enjoying that, and looking for someone, but you need to be enjoying your life right now. Don't have it on hold while you're like hoping to find that person, because that doesn't help your relationship. You need to have a life when you get into a relationship, a life that you're happy with ultimately, because that will make the relationship much happier anyway. If you just get into a relationship, but all you've spent your time doing is trying to get into a relationship, you haven't got much to bring.
No.
And that's very important actually for the photos as well, because if you're living that kind of life, it's really hard to bring something to your photography, to your dating photos, of course, because your whole life's been about dating. So how do you show that in your photos? And do you want to show that in your photos? No. So I think that's really important. If you're kind of struggling to meet the right kind of person, don't kind of get too downhearted, but go, right, well, what can I do for me that's going to make me feel good about me, and like focusing on that. I think that's so important.
Really.
And when you do that, you'll then have more things to bring to your photo shoot and to bring to your profile. You'll have things to talk about, and I think one thing, people do is, they kind of, and I might have been a bit guilty of this, you kind of sit at home and watch a lot of Netflix going, I want someone who's, a DJ, and maybe they go skiing every weekend, and, and they've got this great job, and, and you kind of like have this vision of what you want them to be, yet you're sitting at home every night in your PJs watching Netflix and just like scrolling on apps and, dating apps, so you need to, live your life the way you need to live a good life to be happy, so that when you meet someone, you have a life.
Yeah.
So I think that's so important.
Yeah, because I say this to my clients a lot, in that they have these aspirational ideas of the relationship that they want to be in, and then when they're telling me, I want them to be passionate and playful and this and that and adventurous, and then I ask them, well, okay, great, that sounds fantastic. How much of that have you got going on in your own life right now? How much of that are you bringing to your own life right now? And it just goes very quiet. It goes very, very quiet. And it's because,
I mean, I think we're all guilty of that, or have been at some point.
But it's to remember that person that you're aspiring to be with is looking for someone that is in that space already, is living that kind of lifestyle. So if you're not doing that, if you're not operating in that same sort of space as what you're looking to attract, you're going to keep passing that person's just going to pass you by, because it's hard for them to notice you. Right.
And even if they did notice you, they probably wouldn't connect with you.
Yes.
So even if you did somehow end up on a date with them, there's something missing, that it's not going to connect, because they're going to be like, I'm not really feeling this. Like, I don't feel like they're on, they're my vibe. Yeah. So it is like really important to have a life, or be working towards a life that makes you feel good about yourself, that you're happy with. and that makes dating so much easier.
Yeah.
So rather than just focusing totally like your whole life on dating, you're going to have nothing to bring to your profile, nothing to bring to dates. So I think, yeah, I mean, if people are really struggling, especially after a breakup, when you kind of get lost sometimes after a breakup, like who am I? Who am I without that person? It's great to just like focus on yourself and making yourself happy. I think that's so important.
Yeah, really, really, really good point. Because I remember listening, well, it's actually an advert of a podcast that I heard a few weeks ago. And it was
Yeah.
actually the lady from the Great British Bake Off, the new Prue, I think her name is, one of the
Okay.
judges. And she was talking about her life after her partner had passed away, and how one of the things that really saved her was that the fact that she had her own life, she had her own interests, she had her own projects and relationships, that she felt that that was one of the things that really kept her going at the point that she was
Oh, I
most
bet.
heartbroken, right? And if we think about
Yeah.
breakups that we come out of, sometimes if our life has just revolved around that person and we've not had anything else going on, we feel crushed, we feel lost. But if we've got lots going on
Totally.
for ourselves, we can keep living, we can keep enjoying life until we get to that point where we may want to contemplate starting a relationship with someone new. So it's so
That's
important.
so true. Yeah, because I remember like in my younger days when I was younger and dating, you do get lost in the relationship, and you kind of, because you're just figuring out who you are and what you're into and what what your talents are or whatever, and so you end up with someone and meshed with them, and then when you split up, it's like, oh my God, who am I? I don't even know. And it's so important to spend that time
Yeah.
or spend some time at some point in your life early on figuring out who you are, and also it's about having a growth mindset as well. So you never stop learning, never stop being interested, never stop being curious, trying new things. I think that's so important. I'm living an experimental life myself at the moment, like where I just try lots of new things as an experiment to see if it's something I want to do or not. And and I think with dating, that's really important as well. I think living your life like that, where you're trying new things all the time. Like I didn't even pick up a camera till I was 35, and then it's my business. I didn't know that I was into photography. Like, and now I paint as well. I didn't start doing that till last lockdown. So I think there's so many things that we never get the chance to try. But if we don't try them, you never know what you're good at. And I think it's really exciting to just keep like trying new things and finding, exploring what you're into. And that leads to meeting people. It leads to new passions and connections, and it's exciting. It makes you feel alive.
Yeah. And bringing it full circle leads to amazing photos, right?
Of course, because of course I'd have my camera, I'd have my painting, straight away I've got like a whole visual story that I could reveal in my dating photos. So it's so true. Having a life, it makes it so easy to have your photo shoot because you know exactly who you are and what you want to say about yourself.
Yeah, brilliant. I've loved our conversation so much, Saskia. I feel there's so much
Me too.
more for us to dive into, but I know that you're going to join me on the podcast, the Fearless Dating podcast, where we can dive even deeper with so many of these things. But I've loved our conversation. I think there's been so much
Me too.
value that you've shared with everyone. I hope everyone that's joined us has been taking notes, because you've dropped some absolute gems here today. And
thank you.
yeah, it's just so
you.
brilliant. You can really feel your expertise, and there's a reason why you guys are number one in this field and you are leading the way, because having had the opportunity to be on a shoot with you guys and see the professionalism and see the way that you work and the way that you extract that person's story out, your clients, your aspirations, who they want to be, the way that you extract that out is so beautiful. And then that's so wonderfully replicated and represented in those final photos. So I love your work. I'm going to continue to be your cheerleader and support you guys, because I think it's just so wonderful and so powerful what you're doing. And for anyone that is watching, if you've joined us halfway, this will be up on my Instagram channel for you to catch the replay. Please do give Hey Saturday a big follow, because Saskia is
Oh yeah, it'd
always
be lovely to
dropping
see
so
you.
much advice. Yeah, it's like you're always sharing such valuable
And just
advice.
thank you. And DM me if you have any questions or any queries at all. And 10% discount if anyone wants to book a shoot
Yes,
during non-lockdown times. But
yes,
absolutely
yes.
happy to organise that as well. But otherwise, just go out and have fun with your housemate or your mate, and just get some really. Hopefully, I've shared enough today where you're feeling inspired to go and give it a go. Because it should
Yeah.
be about fun. That's probably my last word on it. Is your dating should be fun. Your dating profile should be fun, and your photos. You should be having fun while you're doing it, so that
Yeah,
you're really relaxed and natural and happy.
yeah,
Thank you,
100%.
Priya.
Totally
I can
agree.
see your note in
Yeah,
there. Thank you,
yeah.
Priya.
The
Love your
sisters are watching.
photos. We love you too.
Yeah, with such amazing photos. We loved them. We were all like, as we saw them, it was so like, oh my God, these are just so brilliant. And we were laughing about the violin
Can
photo
I just
shoot.
say
We think
she's so stylish as well. Like your clothes, Priya. You're like a style queen. I just loved it. Everything was just it was so beautifully done. Really
she's gonna
nice.
love that. She's gonna
Very
love
good.
that. And I think we've got an album cover there in the making. We were joking about when she releases her first
Yeah.
violin concerto
Oh
album. She
yeah,
got that
yeah,
on there.
yeah.
So it's
Totally. That's a
fantastic.
great
But
idea.
thank you so much. I'm looking forward to when we get to meet again in person when you're
Yes.
back in
Yes.
London, hopefully lockdown free. And yeah, thank you
That'd be great.
everyone for joining us. I'm saying Artie styled me.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I saw that. Well done, Artie. I didn't realize
Thank,
it was down to you.
thank
She's
you.
a
I tried.
stylist as well.
Adding that to the CV. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to link
Thank you for
a
having me.
Thank you. So, and like, I'm going to have a website link in the actual description. So anyone that wants to hop over to the Hey Saturday website can go on there, have a look at some real life examples of clients that you've worked with and the amazing photography that you've produced. You've also got your blog on there with tips, which I really recommend checking out. And make sure if you do book
Thank you.
a shoot with Saskia and her team that you mention fearless dating, so you bag that 10% off, right?
Yeah, just drop me a line. The website's on my email's on the website. Drop me a line mentioning Artie, and I'll sort you out with a discount code for 10% off. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah,
Because
love
it's
it.
lovely to
Awesome.
be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Here's to one of many
Okay,
conversations in the future. Thank you so much, Saskia, and I will speak to you very soon.
absolutely.
And thank you everyone for watching. Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.